Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on a Friday. We hope you got your coffee ready. It's time for Biz Talk.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Biz Talk. I am Glenna Hum, the owner of Fusion One Marketing, and I want to welcome everybody this morning. We have a really fun guest, and the reason that we run Biz Talk a couple times a week for you is just to kind of talk to local businesses who are still thriving and running their business even through all of this craziness. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody else introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with our guest here in just a second.
Good morning. I am Sarah, the Director of Digital Marketing.
And I'm Kelsey Munn. I'm a social media manager with Fusion One Marketing, and I'm very excited to have my personal friend Caitlin here as a guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, Caitlin?
Sure. I'm Caitlin Hastings, and I own Botanica Houseplant Shop, which is located in downtown Birmingham.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you. Let's start it off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and how Botanica came to be.
Sure. So I am actually a physician assistant in real life. Went to school for that at UAB, graduated, got the degree, worked in surgery my first 2.5 years out of school, and got pretty burnt out and was kind of looking for something creative to do on the side. My husband and I, we don't have any kids yet, so we just kind of talked about what that looked like for me, how I could, maybe incorporate plants into, just outside of the surgery world. I had a lot of houseplants at home, and I always had a lot of friends that were interested in houseplants and would ask me for kind of help or guidance. And yes, Kelsey, Kelsey's great with plants. So a lot of friends would kind of ask, like, hey, you're good with plants. What do I need in my house? And my husband was kind of like, why don't you just do this for other people? I didn't think I had enough time to do it because I had a full-time job in surgery. So I kind of just started doing consults for people. I would come into their homes and look at what plants I thought would work in their space and give them all the care instructions and kind of get them on their way to their plant journey. And it just kind of evolved into opening a plant shop. So it was always meant to be a side hustle, never like a full-time thing. But like a year later, here we are. So I love it.
Yeah, and everybody flocks to you too, so you've done well.
Yeah, I love those stories that start out with like a labor of love, that just turns into something that you're doing because it's a passion, and then it just grows into something. I think you have such a great story. I wanted to see if you could expand a little bit on to the types of products and services you offer and kind of what your whole store is about.
Yes, absolutely. What kind of sets us apart from other plant shops is we do only like house plants, indoor plants, kind of the trendy stuff that you see on Pinterest and Instagram. House plants are cool right now, millennials and everyone is kind of loving house plants. And so we don't do any outdoor stuff. Like you said, it's a passion thing. I'm passionate about indoor plants because that's kind of what I have at home. And so I don't really dabble in outdoor stuff. So we offer a ton of really cool indoor plants for low light, bright light, no light. I mean, anything that you're looking for, we have. We also have a lot of great pots and planters. I always have a really hard time finding pots that match my decor, that aren't like really ugly or gaudy or anything like that. It's very tasteful, I think, planters pots here. And then the other leg of our business is the consultations. Like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of consultations for both residential and commercial spaces. And we also offer maintenance services on the plants that we install. So I do maintenance on a lot of plants that I installed at restaurants and businesses around Birmingham. So, it keeps your space looking beautiful with plants, but also takes the pressure off of you as a business owner trying to keep them alive yourself. So
that's really valuable because really and truly, because I can't tell you how many plants, just because I haven't been able to keep up with them, and then I'm like so sad because I'm killing my plant. I don't, but to have that service to come in and just say, hey, we'll take care of it. Not only when we drop it off, but just ongoing. That's really cool.
Yes,
absolutely. And her selection of planters is really remarkable. I've been to a lot of different shops, and they're very modern, sleek, and then you've got the cutesy ones. So there's a lot to choose from. It's really awesome. So since the lockdown and all of this, what we call COVID crap or Corona crap, how have you adapted your business since you can't have your patrons come into your store to purchase your items?
Certainly. So I know a lot of plant shops are still open and operating. Those are kind of your outdoor environment plant shops, so that's kind of a safer environment, I feel like, to shop in right now. If you are going to be out and about shopping, however, since we are all indoor plants, we are like considered more retail than like a garden shop, So with that said, we have had to move every bit of what we do online. And I knew that other plant shops out there existed that shipped plants, prior to when we started doing it about a month ago, but we had never shipped anything out before this. It was something that we definitely wanted to get into, but that's a whole nother ball game. And you've got to have a lot of manpower, to do that, to be able to receive all these orders and package them up. And on top of just shipping plants, we're offering local delivery and curbside pickup for people that order things off of our website. So it kind of forced our hand to get the web store like up and running more quickly than probably we were going to. But what can you do? Everybody's had to kind of pivot and adapt to however you can stay alive and thriving, at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really smart. Well, let me tell you, your social media has got it going on. It's so well put together. And you really follow the format that we just preach all the time, which is be consistent, know your audience, and know the social media channels that work, and just keeping it fun and interesting and informative. And I just love it. So I wanted to compliment you on that, but then also just wanted to talk to you about how the impact of social media and marketing has had on your business.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. Again, like I came from a physician assistant science job to this, and I have no marketing background whatsoever. I was telling Kelsey, yesterday that had I not been on a startup budget when, I started all this, I would have loved to have just turned my social media over to somebody like what you guys do, because it's invaluable. I mean, your social media nowadays is how people find you. We have not paid a dime for advertising. We just put all of our stuff out there on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and that's how people find out about us, so it's been invaluable. It really has.
Well, you're doing a great job. And I feel like, honestly, your presence has almost increased since COVID-19. Well, it probably certainly has. But I see way more other people, like your customers, sharing the products they've purchased from you and just being like, these plant babies are giving me life in this lockdown.
I love that. And that is, that's an aspect of like social media that you can't really control is, you just hope that your customers are going to be passionate about your product and want to share it with others. I mean, I know I do that with other products. Like I'm not an influencer by any means, but if I find something I'm passionate about, I'm always sharing it with people. So, the fact that people do that with our plants that they receive it makes it so worth it. You know what I mean? When you see how happy it makes everybody else. So yeah, I mean, think about how many people are at home right now. I know my husband and I, every night we sit at home on our phones, just catching up on social media or, seeing what other people are doing. And we do it before we get out of bed in the morning. And so you have that captive audience right now, people on their phones, because there's not a whole lot to do or places to go right now.
Very true. This is going to be online more than ever.
Yes, actually, we do have some people joining us already this morning. We have Cindy Edmonds, and we also have Emily Standifer. Cindy is a realtor, a local realtor here with ARC Realty, and she has a question for you. She said, I'm a realtor, and I heard that you might be able to rent plants for staging. How does that work?
Absolutely. We just did that for a house in Homewood, actually. So we bring the plants in and, kind of just put them wherever the realtor thinks, plants might look good. Obviously a little bit more tame than what you see behind me, but, we'll come in, we'll bring the plants in, we'll even do the maintenance on them to keep them alive and thriving while the house is being shown through the closing process.
Awesome.
Take them out as soon as, the house sells or has a contract on it. So it's literally no maintenance for the realtor or the homeowner that's selling their house. We do everything.
Fantastic. That's really great.
It's a brilliant idea to just kind of liven up the space instantly.
Absolutely. I feel like plants, just that little pop of green, in a corner of the room or on a side table next to the couch, it really adds so much. And people, they don't really realize that it's missing until you put it in there and then you take it away and they're like, oh, wow, that really did change the space so much for the better.
Absolutely.
Oh, it sure does. Kelsey, are you next? I forgot. I'm trying to see you.
Where are you?
I'm just lost in our conversation.
I start looking at our plants. I'm like, those are so cool.
Oh, goodness.
Caitlin, do you have any advice that you would give to other small business owners that maybe trying to dabble in social media marketing for themselves?
Certainly. I just listen to tons of podcasts on social media marketing and things like that. And some are better than others. And off the top of my head, I can't think of the names, but a quick Google search is kind of how I found a lot of these things, just advice that other people, experts in the market can give you just if you've got, 10 or 20 minutes to sit down and listen to these podcasts, and just kind of helps, direct you where you need to spend your time, with social media, because you can do a lot of things on social media that don't really impact your following at all. And that's the hardest part. You guys know, just kind of figuring out what's going to be the most effective for you.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay, so what do you find are the most common questions, or I say issues maybe that people come to you for, that you get asked about?
Yeah. So, plant questions. Everybody wants to know, like, what plants can grow in the dark because, I don't have great light, or how do I keep from killing this plant? And every plant's different. But my rule of thumb is the easiest way to kill plants is by overwatering them. So people kind of think they need to water a plant every day or every 3 days even. And for most plants, once a week when they're indoors is going to be plenty. And so that's kind of been my, what I've set out to do is to just tell people, don't overwater your plants. You can always add more water. You can't really take it out once it's in there.
So along with that, and I hope this isn't a silly question, you've probably gotten a lot of them, but when you water it, if the water comes out of the bottom, is that like you've done too much, or do you want enough to just moisten the soil?
No, that's great. So when we talk about overwatering, it's more about the frequency that you're watering, not the amount that you're putting in at one time.
Okay.
So if you're watering once a week, you want to soak that plant all the way through, and you want to see water coming out the bottom. But then you probably don't want to water it again until that soil dries out. And again, not for all plants, but most plants. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
And don't make a rookie mistake like I did. I'm telling on myself here, but I had a pot that I thought had a catch basin on the bottom on my hardwood floors, and I was soaking that sucker like every week for months. And then I decided this little guy would look better over here, and then my wood floors are very sad looking now. So
it happens.
Wrap something underneath it or take it outside.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what type of plants would you suggest for people that have a black thumb and can't keep things alive?
Yeah, like
So I will say this: I do not believe in having a black or a green thumb, because when I started out, I would probably say I had a black thumb. It is all trial and error and figuring out, learning about the plants and figuring out what works best in your space. The first thing you should ask yourself when you're buying a plant is, what kind of light do I get where I want to put this plant? Do I get harsh, direct, hot sun all day or in the afternoons, or is it just kind of nice and like filtered in throughout the day? Because the light, more than anything, is going to affect how your plants thrive. So with that in mind, there are definitely 2 to 3 plants, I would say, that are very hardy and hard to kill that I kind of recommend to everyone as starter plants. These are all on our website too. The first one is called a ZZ plant, just ZZ. That's shortened for like its very crazy long real name, which I don't care. Call the ZZ plant the Chuck Norris of houseplants. You cannot kill it, and it can be in bright light, low light. You can water it once every 3 months. It is so hard to kill, so that is probably the best starter plant. Another one that kind of everybody probably knows about is called the snake plant or the mother-in-law's tongue. That one also is very similar to the ZZ plant. It can do bright light, low light, water it once a month. You know, I'm all about the low maintenance stuff when I'm kind of first introducing people to houseplants. Just kind of, you know, break yourself in easy, and if you can keep those alive, you're good. And the third one is called a pothos. It's kind of, you know, if you're ever at like a Mexican restaurant and you see that vining plant like all over their walls and stuff. I don't know why they always have those, but they do. So the pothos is also one that's very hardy and hard to kill. So those would kind of be my top 3 to start with, I think.
Awesome. I have so many of those.
Right. Yeah, that's really good. Did you say once or twice a month? That's good. Okay, so I was actually asking Kelsey this, or talking to Kelsey about this morning. I wanted to know if there's any other benefits to having a house plant besides it just looking nice. Like, are there health benefits? Is it good for like the air quality in your home, or if you have allergies or things like that? Is there additional benefits to certain plants in your house?
Yes, you're absolutely right. NASA actually has done studies, and a lot of researchers in Europe. Europe's kind of always ahead of us with like the research stuff, you know. So there's been a lot of studies done though that kind of show how different plants, like the ZZ plant and the snake plant in particular, the 2 that I just mentioned, how they clean the air and they remove toxins from the air, and every plant kind of removes different toxins. The cool thing about grouping a lot of plants together in your home also is plants, you know, I'm going to throw out the term cellular respiration, which is just a fancy term for, you know, how they put oxygen back into the air, right? And so plants increase the humidity because they're kind of letting off this vapor, you know, around them. And so with increased humidity in your home, it's just like in the summer months here in Alabama when it's hot and the humidity is really high, you know, people aren't really sick, right? Like sick season is kind of in the winter time. That's kind of when viruses thrive, when it's cold and there's no humidity, right? And so if you can increase the humidity in your home, there have been studies that show that it decreases the ability for like viruses and things like that to replicate. So I tell my husband, that's why neither of us have gotten COVID-19 yet, is because we have all these plants in our
Wow. Interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Take that for what it's worth, but you know that there really is some really good health benefits to having plants in your home.
Yes, I think they can kind of reduce stress too, and I don't think that applies just to like plant freaks like us. I think that is across the board. Just having more oxygen in your space helps reduce stress. So buy some houseplants, people.
So right. We've had a lot of people reach out about, you know, everybody's working from home right now, and they're like, I need plants in my home office. I need this space to be like a happy space since I have to be in it every day and I'm closed in from my kids. And so we've been selling a lot of plants to people that just want to kind of liven up their space a little bit.
That's wonderful. Glenna, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Yes. No, I know how important that is because I was have a fairly new office here in the new house that we bought. And I was like, so drab. I got to figure out something. So I did get a real colorful painting, but I think you just about talked me into plants. Just about. Now, I'd be really sad if I have to sit there and look at it and it's dead, but
yeah. And that's the good thing about us at Botanica. I've kind of made it my mission to educate people about the plant that they're purchasing, because it serves me no good if I sell you a plant and then you just come back to me in a month and you're like, well, it's dead. What do I do? You know, so we educate people on the forefront. So we put care instructions on our website for every plant that you buy. And if you are gifting a plant to someone, like a lot of people have been sending plant birthday gifts and things, via us, like we're delivering or shipping for people because you can't get out and buy things yourself right now.
Yeah.
We will include care instructions and the name of the plant with, when we send it so that when they get it, they know what they're getting.
How awesome. Well, we do have Harry Slagle, who's glad to see him on here again today. He says, I have 3 Christmas cactuses that all came from the same plant. One blooms every year. The other 2 never bloom. Why is this?
For Christmas cacti, they you always hear people say like, oh, mine blooms every year. Oh, mine never blooms. What I have found is it's kind of, they bloom based on where you put them in your house. They love, this is very backwards for cacti, but Christmas cacti love being near a cold, bright window. Cold, I know that sounds crazy, but the temperature change is kind of what triggers them to bloom. So in Alabama, sometimes it's 70 degrees on Christmas Day and leading up to it. And so if it's hot outside, your Christmas cactus may bloom later, kind of after the temperature changes.
Good to know. I always with mine blooming too, Harry, so don't feel bad.
I was going to say, we don't have cold. We don't have cold windows most of the time. So what is the alternative? Is there an alternative? I don't know.
Yeah, just put it as close as you can to a cold window, or it may not bloom that year. It may bloom later, like when we get those random, snows in April, which I'm sure is coming like any day now.
Well, and we also have Kirk. Good morning, Mr. Edmonds. Nice to see you.
Hey, Kirk.
He didn't have a question, so you guys can go ahead.
So we heard your store was moved. Where can we find you after the lockdown lifts?
Yes. So we did move to a new space a couple weeks ago, but we are still in downtown Birmingham, and we are actually just up a block and around the corner from our old space. So we are on Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard, which is kind of that one-way downtown that takes you straight to like the courthouse and City Hall and all of that, right across from the YMCA. So just up a block and around the corner from our old space. And if you can't find it, you can call us. We'll stay on the phone with you until you get here. We had to do that for a couple people.
Can walk you right in.
Right.
If you find yourself at our old location, you can literally walk to our new location. So we're not far at all.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think I see a famous flamingo wall there behind you.
Yes, oh gosh, I'm so backwards. We did. We brought the flamingo wallpaper with us. Everything that used to be in the old space, we kept. We brought the pink couch you can see that I'm sitting on. We brought the neon sign, which is behind me. We still have a cactarium actually. This space is really cool because yes, we have a cactarium. We have an upstairs at this new location, a mezzanine level. And so all of our desert plants are upstairs on the mezzanine level. It's really, really cool. So your cacti, your succulents, agave, all of that stuff, we still have. It's just it's in a separate part of the store, which we love.
Awesome.
I know, I love it. So I think Kelsey was telling me about this, that not only is the flamingo backdrop is just kind of your little signature, and as well as the pink couch, but do you have like photo ops with, if somebody gets a plant, they can take a picture with the backdrop? Is that how that
how'd that start?
I think that's so cute.
Yes, absolutely. We kind of wanted to have like a little Instagrammable moment in the store, if you will. And, something that was kind of Botanica brand, that if people saw that photo of that flamingo wallpaper, that they would know exactly where those people were and where they got those plants from. And so many of our customers come in and take a photo in front of the flamingo wall, and it's so fun. We love it.
So very smart on your part. I mean, like you were saying earlier, the engagement that you get from your customers on social media just helps build and fortify your brand. And so giving them a reason to put it out there, giving them a cute space to make something that's Insta-worthy, very smart on your part.
Yes. I mean, you guys know millennials. We're all about putting ourselves out there on Instagram. So you can make a cute place for them to do that. They love it.
Yeah, that's really cute. So once this whole pandemic is gone, is there any workshops or classes or events that you've got planned out?
So we have not set dates yet because obviously, nobody knows when this is going to be over. But every month, like you can know that every month once we get reopened, our goal is to do 3 classes a month, potentially 4. And there'll be kind of different days of the week so that, some people, maybe it works better for them to come after work during the week. Some people like to kind of do things on the weekends because that's their free time. So every month, we're going to do our goal is to do one make and take workshop where you can come and sit down if it's like a pot painting class or, something like that, a terrarium building class. You come, you can bring girlfriends or wine or whatever, and we'll actually make something and you can take it home, plant related. Another one of the classes we're going to offer monthly is a Houseplants 101 class or kind of an educational class. So a lot of people really like kind of just hearing, about different topics. So we'll do that. And then the other class that we are going to teach is like a propagation class, probably. We'll just do some different things like that. So the goal again is to kind of do 2 to 3 classes a month, maybe 4, just depending on, how excited people are about it or if we have a cool topic.
I have a feeling they're going to run to your store for that. Everybody needs something to do.
Yeah,
really.
I'd be up. Well, I've got to know, and you and I have had talks before about the pronunciation of plant names.
Yes.
How in the world do you learn how to pronounce all these weird plant names?
I do not. So the first thing you should know about me is I am not a pretentious plant person. I go with the lay person's name because I found that when I talk to people about plants, it goes right over their head, and rightfully so. Half the time when you use the layman's term name, people still don't know what you're talking about. So I try to just be very basic about everything. And one of my employees, Blake, he knows everything about every plant. And anytime I, stumble over the correct pronunciation of like the real scientific name of a plant, he pops right in and he knows exactly what it is. So there are definitely people that are way better versed in that than I am.
That's too funny.
It looks like we have PM Johnson who has joined us, and he has a question for you, Caitlin. He said, in your opinion, what is, let's see, do you use coffee grounds? Let me see. What is your opinion about coffee grounds in herbs? Sorry about that, PM. Like using them in potting soil.
Yeah, I don't do a lot with coffee grounds. I just, as far as soil goes, I kind of just will add whatever to my soil that it needs. You can buy like just a basic bag of potting soil from we sell potting soil. Obviously, you can get that at Lowe's and Home Depot, and then you can kind of add things to your soil. That's another class that we're going to offer is like a soil mixtures class, just kind of depending on what plants you have. So I know with coffee grounds, it kind of increases the acidity of the soil. Again, I'm a very basic plant person. So I really don't do a whole lot of extra stuff to potting soil, especially not if you're just starting out. It's just not necessary.
Good to know.
Perfect.
Well, time flies. I'm telling you.
It really does.
Time flies. Really. This has been great. So I wanted to ask you, who are some of the best referral partners for you that would help?
Realtors, obviously, because of the whole staging process, and a lot of realtors like to gift a plant as like a housewarming gift after their buyers close on a home. We also get a lot of referrals from interior designers because they are in people's homes, changing everything around and kind of looking to add some greenery to that space. So we work very closely with some of the local interior designers as well.
Awesome.
Okay, we've got your contact information scrolling below. So if you want to reach out to Caitlin, there's multiple ways.
Follow her on Insta and Facebook.
Yes, and you're doing virtual consultations as well.
We are offering virtual consultations right now. So since I can't really come into people's homes and do the in-home consultations like I normally do, I've been FaceTiming a lot of customers, and they're kind of showing me their space and where they want plants, and I'm kind of able to see their light situation. And we will deliver them to your porch with care instructions, and it's completely contact free. So you can just, you know, wherever we talk about putting them, and that's been really fun too.
That's great.
Yeah, that is great. Well, we've covered a lot, haven't we? We've covered a lot of ground. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. Everything that is in our store right now, pots, plants, little, you know, everything is on our website. Like I mentioned, we've kind of had to shift everything online, but we're offering the curbside pickup and local delivery, and then we can ship plants as well. So lots of avenues there. You can totally still get house plants, and if you have any questions, we're happy to help with, you know, kind of picking the right plant for your space and things like that.
Awesome. Well, gosh.
Well, I'm shopping today.
I was going to say, I think I'm going to be looking at the website and your Instagram here in just a little bit.
We are getting a big plant shipment tomorrow, so we'll be updating the website. A lot of things you'll see are sold out. We are getting shipments weekly right now, just so we can fill the need, which is a good problem to have. But yes, we'll be doing a big website update Sunday evening. So if you get on there and anything that you see that you want is sold out, we will be getting more of that this weekend.
Perfect.
Well, I think it's time for the hot seat.
Yeehaw.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Caitlin, nothing to be scared about. No pressure. No, this is just something fun that we like to do with our guests. We're going to give you 60 seconds. I'm going to ask you some random questions just so people can get to know you a little bit better. And are you ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
Okay. And who has our timer? Okay, we're going. All right. Do you prefer a shopping mall or Amazon?
Amazon.
What's your favorite drink?
Sweet tea.
Do you believe in aliens? Would you prefer IHOP or Waffle House?
Waffle House.
What's your favorite thing at Waffle House?
I get the hash brown smothered covered in nuts and a chocolate chip waffle.
Yum. Okay, toilet paper, over or under?
I go over.
Okay. What do you think takes up way too much of your time?
Scrolling through Instagram looking at plants.
Are you a dog or a cat person?
I have both, but my cat holds a very special place in my heart.
Well, that was fun. And I'll tell you, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you coming on with us. And I think everyone has learned so much. And it's just such a cool concept that you have. So we really, really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Yep. Bye.